Greetings to our MN students nationwide. Welcome to your first virtual classroom discussion, and we will be having nursing theories. Again, I'm your mentor, Sam, and we will be having the theories that surrounded the concepts and principles of our profession. Before that, we would like to remind you of the dates that we have already for your modules, or we have already for your semester. Again, we're talking about the first module that consists of your professional communications instructions and nursing theories. Now, for the face-to-face, we're done with it on your specific sites and venues. And for the modular phase, you're actually developing your own assignments, or I hope you're halfway done with your assignments and with your modular requirements. Okay, the online phase, we're developing our online program right now. I hope you did already have your accounts on Skype and Multiply and email accounts. Send it to us so that it will be easier for you to receive updates and files and programs for your specific learning requirements. Now, updates for this nursing theory, I've already sent you some files and emails regarding these theories. Last of August 15 and August 20th. Kindly check on your Yahoo account on that, and if you have questions or you have similar queries about any subjects on your MA program, don't hesitate to log on in our Multiplier account. Now, final examination. This is the day that we will be testing you or evaluating the competence that you have received. Again, this August 31st examination, we will have two examinations. At 1 p.m., you will be having your English examination, and at 3 p.m. later on that day, you will be having your nursing theory examination. So, before we will be discussing or before we will be reviewing about the different nursing theories, I'd like to make mention of the different theory critiquing guides that we have presented on your modules and we have discussed on our face-to-face. We have actually three theory critiquing. We have according to Torres, according to Shin and Kramer, and lastly according to Carper. It is up to you of what nursing theory critiquing that you would have to develop or you would have to use. Okay, here is the theory presented by, or the theory critic presented by Torres on the late 1990s. He has said that there are 7 ways that you could be developing or you could be looking at theories. Okay, and here it is. You have explanation and you have examples on your modules. Kindly follow them up so that you will be having an easier time to figure out the theories that was presented by our different founding mothers and fathers in the nursing world. Okay. Here is the theory presented, or the theory critic presented by Shin and Kramer. It only discusses, is the theory clear? Okay, for us to be able to understand it, is the theory simple? Is the theory generalizable? Could it be used on a different field, or could it be used on a different setting? And finally, its empirical applicability. Meaning to say, is it still applicable from the time that it was presented until such time that we are practicing it right now? Okay, Carper also presented to us another way of looking at the theory at around 1978, and here are the things that you will be looking according to Carper. Now, we go now to the specific theories. We will be having a review of these theories and the things that you would want to remember. Let's start off with the lady with the lamp. Okay, everyone knows the lady with the lamp, and right now we will be focusing on her work. Again, the lady with the lamp presented with us her theory, and theory was its nature. Okay, remember the lady with the lamp, or Florence Nightingale's theory, if we do look at the history of the Crimean War. Now, again, Miss Florence was born to a rich family, William Edward and Frances, but during those times, okay, nursing work, or there was no such thing as a nursing as a profession. Nursing was regarded to be not a profession, but of those women who do not have anything to do with their lives. Okay, women who are doing nursing work were just widowers, perhaps, or widows, yung mga taong walang ginagawa sa buhay nila, sumasama sila sa gera, at sila yung nagiging nurse. If you imagine, Florence Nightingale came from a royal line of family wherein nursing work is not really their line of work or line of business. Sidney Herbert was the Secretary of War during that time. Florence Nightingale got in contact with Sidney Herbert, and Sidney Herbert was very instrumental in sending Florence Nightingale to Crimea. Upon observation of the Lutheran community, institution of casework of the Rhine for practical training of the deaconesses was the first work of Florence Nightingale. Okay, she was observing how the pastor and the nuns on this Lutheran community, on how they were taking care of their patients, and soon after which Florence Nightingale, before going to Crimea, she was able to develop this work. Now, during the time of the Crimean War, it was again Sidney Helbert who sent Florence Nightingale to that place, and with her, she had 37 nurses, including her aunts. Now, Crimea is around 545 kilometers across the Black Sea from Baklava, where the main British camp was based. During that time, again, there was a war wherein the British Empire was conquering Turkey. Medicines were short of supply and hygiene was being neglected. And the mass infections were common and many of them were fatal. There was no equipment to process food for the patient. Now, if you will be imagining the sanitation and the environmental conditions of the patient, predominantly soldiers, were very, very poor. And during the time that when Florence Nightingale came to the place, there was no evident improvement on the condition of the patient until such time that the British colony or the British Empire sent medication and sent sanitary inspector to the place. After which, after 2 weeks or so, the conditions of the patients improved. Now, that scenario made Florence Nightingale develop the environmental theory, because for her, it was the environment that played a very big part, or a very major role in the development of diseases and the improvement of the patient's condition. Okay, there was a very striking word that describes Florence Nightingale, and it is this: she is a ministering angel without any exaggeration in these hospitals, and her slender body form glides quietly along each corridor. Every poor fellow's face softens with gratitude at the sight of her, and when all medical officers have retired for the night and silence and darkness have settled down upon those miles of prostrate sick, she be observed as a lady with the lamp on her hand, making her solitary rounds. Here's how Florence Nightingale viewed the four meta-paradigms of nursing. Okay? Again, we are looking at four major concepts of nursing work that is very uniform on how we will be looking at the theories. We have person, we have health, we have environment, and we have illness or the patient. Okay? Now, for Florence Nightingale, the person is the patient who is acted on by the nurse. He is affected by the environment and he has reparative powers. Meaning to say, from Florence Nightingale's concept, or from as early as the late 18th or 19th century, Florence Nightingale believed that the powers of the person would be reparative if we will be controlling the environment. Now, the main focus of Florence Nightingale concepts revolves around the environment. She says the foundation of the theory, or this is the foundation of her theory, included everything physical, psychological, and social. Now, for her, health is maintaining well-being by using a person's power, and it is maintained or controlled by the environment. Now, nursing, lastly, provided fresh air, warmth, cleanliness, good diet, and quiet to facilitate the patient's reparative process. Now, we would see here how Florence Nightingale presented her theory. If you would see on the inner circle, we have the client, and the client is connected to the different environmental aspects. Okay, she says that these concepts are included in these concepts are ventilation, noise, air, health of the house, variety, light, bedding, cleanliness, chattering hopes, nutrition. Okay, those few are self